All right, everybody, welcome back again. This is the NESB Entrepreneurship SIG and Link Up podcast and video series. I am your co-director of the SIG, Mr. Brian Ware. We have our programs chair.
Yep. Hey, everybody, back again. Jason Harps, and we have a special guest, Jamel.
We got it, Jamel Daniels.
You still said it wrong. But Mr. Jamel, this is good friend.
Oh God, sorry y'all.
Yeah.
Just having a good time.
Hey, we're raw here. We're honest.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jamel is a good friend of mine. I've known for a few years through a buddy, Mr. Thomas, or TT, real name Thomas. A fellow 916er, Sacramento, for those that don't know, Sacramento, California, the capital. Known him for a long time, since I was in college. And he has a wonderful business here, and I'll let you introduce yourself and your business.
So we're at the headquarters of Acropolis Capital. We are a real estate investment firm here in San Diego. We specialize in investing in distressed real estate assets throughout San Diego County. And we've been in business about 10 years. I'm one of the founders. I've got two other partners. And we service all your real estate needs as a brokerage. We also have a in-house construction company that allows us to do and execute all of our construction projects. And we also operate as a private equity investment firm as well.
Dope. So we're bringing you guys good content, good people, very well-rounded entrepreneurs right here. So Jaden, you want to talk about your business or businesses?
Yeah. So the business that I'm doing right now is actually with my mom. It's called Zero to Necessary, and our mission is to encourage, inspire, and empower children and adults to fulfill their goals and to reach their dreams. So right now we're more leaning towards, one of the business concepts of what does that mean, right? And one is going to be in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and we want to be able to do robotics programming to kids, get them aware of STEM, because as we all know, STEM is a touchy subject out here in the United States, and we're well behind compared to the world. But I really want us to be able to touch, underrepresented communities, so that way we can have the resources and the tools, from the jump, and not until we get to college and stuff. Like, oh, what's this? What's engineering? What's all this stuff? So we're doing that. We're also going to get into business licensing. We want to be able to do it with athletes, right? When you hear about Zero to Necessary, it's like what they're doing to themselves in order to get to where they need to be. And the last part is that we really want to get into homeless families, the ones that have money but don't have a place to live. So we want to be able to partner with organizations like that to get them off their feet. So so that's the main business that I'm doing right now, and it's called Zero to Necessary. Yeah.
So awesome. Growing that business, model, for those that have been following along, hopefully, we've been growing and creating and developing our own businesses. Myself, I'm also in STEM. So I partner with Dr. Corey Sewell. We run hands-on technology education. It's a STEM camp for kids, typically a summer camp, 1 week, 2 week camp for 3rd to 5th grade students. We expose them to coding, robotics a little bit, electrical engineering, computer science. And then also I'm the owner and founder of Best Way Construction Services. So it's a construction management, project management, and consulting company. I've been doing that for about 5 years. So, focus on commercial construction projects, help small businesses with their project management and things like that, estimating, and also done expert witness work, here in San Diego. So, with that said, we'll go into the first question.
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think makes your business successful in today's business economy?
It's a very good question. We are successful, I believe we're successful because we provide a solution in the San Diego real estate market, which is a turnkey product for homeowners. We all know that the San Diego housing market is very competitive. There's a lack of inventory, a lack of housing. There's a big problem in San Diego, just housing. Yeah. So we're able to identify a niche within the San Diego housing community where there's just a lack of turnkey inventory. Turnkey inventory meaning move-in ready houses. They're not building any new development anymore. They're not building new single-family residences at the rate they were maybe 10, 15 years ago. So what that leaves is a huge amount of houses that are just anywhere from the stage dilapidated just to distressed. They haven't been taken care of very well. And your average homeowner is a couple, new family, and they want to move into a property and start living. They don't want to move in and redo the roof and redo the kitchen. I mean, it's becoming more popular now with all the HGTV shows, but the average person just doesn't have the time or wherewithal to do that. They have their job, they're raising their kids, they want to move into a house and live. And we've been able to come in and provide that solution to that, a turnkey product, a turnkey livable house in some of San Diego's premier neighborhoods. And at the same time, we were able to show our investors that invest in us a healthy return over the last decade. So that's what makes us successful. We found a niche, we're able to provide a solution to a problem, which is housing in San Diego. And we're also able to provide a solution to our investors, which is how to have a decent return on their finances, their income. The capital, I should say.
Good. Investor. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about investing and things like that. So for me, I'll say, obviously with construction, right? You talk about, the market here and, people looking to, come in and remodel and do different things. I think that's always going to be successful for me, even though I don't focus on residential. There's always people looking to do different things here. I think the economy is thriving, right now. People are sitting on a lot of equity. People are moving into houses with, cash and able to, do flips. And then just on the commercial side, same thing too, as we start to transition into, Amazon, shipping, all these things, cannabis industry, a lot of things going on commercially right now. That society, just culturally, things are changing, and these commercial businesses, these warehouses, these storefronts are all changing. But same thing, I think it just ties into a successful economy right now. Everybody's, looking to get into something. So
yeah, the economy is definitely thriving right now. So it's a good time to be in business.
It's a good time. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, going back to the STEM, with robotics, like we're year 2020, right? That's where we are right now. So we're in the future, and and with robotics, it's like you really got to understand like how they operate, because we're actually developing the robots. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, oh, they're gonna go out and do their own things. Like, no, we're creating like these machines, and these machines are gonna be able to be like our ally or not our ally, depending on how we want to create them. So with the economy where it's going, like we're really strapped with time, time. So how can we build something that can save us time? Cleaning, build a vacuum cleaner, or an Alexa or Google Home, talk about, hey, Spotify or Alexa, tell me what's in the news today,
So you think possibly like the whole iRobot thing, that's right around the corner?
I would say for sure in this 2020s, it's gonna come.
It's coming. Wow.
It's definitely gonna come. Like I'm really like I'm excited, but then I'm kind of like nervous because we don't really know. We always see the movies and stuff, but we really don't know how it's gonna turn out. But we can control somewhat of what we're trying to create. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next question, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit because it's you. This is just me on the fly. I mean, you're in such a good industry, and people want to talk about it. I think the big question. So the next question is, do you feel like your business is timeless, and why? But I'm gonna switch that around. Let's talk about the economy and recession, right? A lot of people, I hear people talk about a recession coming, and they want to wait, until. So tell me what your thoughts are on a potential recession, about the market. What would be your advice on someone saying they're waiting for a recession to make a move, or just,
There's waiting a long time. I don't. First of all, I hear that a lot. A recession is a recession. Everybody here's recession. They kind of think about what happened back in 2009. That wasn't a recession. That was a lot more drastic. That was near a depression. It's just a systemic failure of our financial systems. That's not going to happen again. The government has put things in place where that's just not going to happen. the financial mechanisms in place now will prevent that from happening. So a recession, what might happen is, and you look up the definition of recession, it's I believe it's 2 quarters of flat or negative GDP, which means gross domestic product is flat or negative. That doesn't mean the sky's falling and your house is worth $500K in February, and in June it's worth $400K. So if we do have a recession, it's going to be minor. Things will plateau. There's not going to be any falling of prices where you're going to get a 50% discount on houses in La Jolla or something like that. So I don't think waiting to buy because you think there's going to be a steep discount on real estate is not a good strategy. You're going to be waiting a long time.
That's good. I agree. What are your thoughts, Jay, on the recession?
That's
potential for that. What are your thoughts when you hear that nowadays?
The recession, it is kind of weird, like timing, right? Like, wait for the right time. It's like, well, when is the right time? You know, like it's always going to be now. So whether you got the money or not, you got to make a move, you know? And I feel like what to come with the recession, it depends on where you're going to invest at, you know? I think that's key. And I don't know, I just thought about that right now, like, because one of my boys, you know, he was asking me, like, oh, Jay, you know, should I get a home and stuff? I'm like, I was one of those guys that I think you should wait, you know what I mean? But now I'm thinking, I'm like, nah, man, like, don't wait, because then you're gonna miss out on a little bit of equity that might come from it.
Yeah, that's a good point. You said one of your boys is asking you, should you wait? And I think the answer is it's different for every individual. I think people should get into real estate when it's their time, the right time for them. You know, you got a family, you need more space. I think where people make the mistake is I bought the house just because I think it's a come up, or I'm going to try to flip it and, you know, make X amount of dollars within this amount of time. I think you buy property to live in if it's going to be your primary residence, and you do it when you can afford it, because your income allows for you to live someplace, and it's the right move for you, yourself, or your family. I mean, if you make decisions based on that, you're going to be safe. Or if you buy property based on, okay, well, the rents cover the debt on the house, you'll be safe. People get into trouble when they kind of speculate, thinking, well, you know, the rents may not be covering this, but I'm gonna just sell it in 2 years and I'll cash out 50K or 100K. That's where people get into trouble. So the speculation is where you can kind of run into some issues.
And what I heard there is a little jewel in there is, don't invest in something hoping that you can sell it for the equity. Make sure that property covers, you know, your rent or your mortgage at least, right? If you're gonna
make sure 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah.
It's 2 + 2 = 5 because in 2 years it's about to bubble up because that may or may not happen.
Right. Okay. It's good advice. We could talk all day. Yeah, I agree though about the recession and just the things that triggered it before versus now. I do think in the future, I think automation is going to change things and cancel out a lot of jobs. I think that's what may be the next trigger, but I still think we're a ways away from that though. But for example, a quick example, you could think of the automation, autonomous vehicles and the truck driving industry. The more and more autonomous vehicles that are going to be able to make those deliveries are going to put a lot of truckers out of work. And I know there's a lot of people who are truckers now who make good money and have homes and things like that. And it's a very unique skill set. So, those are things to think of, in the future as you look at that as an investor. And then to my entrepreneurs, that's something to think of. If that's a business you want to get into, think of how you can get on the logistics side of it. Not if you are a trucker, maybe think about how you can leverage the automation and kind of be
in your favor.
So
be ahead of the curve.
Be ahead of the curve, yeah. So it's a little advice there. When you're thinking about your next moves in the future. Don't be too comfortable because technology's coming and it's changing things very fast.
It's coming. Taking everybody's lunch too.
Taking everybody. So the next question is, what does entrepreneurship mean to you? Very vague question, but just kind of give me an idea of when you hear somebody say.
It's a good question. To me, entrepreneurship means, you write your own check. You control your own destiny, and simple as that. That's why I always wanted to be in a business. Fresh out of college, I was working for a large corporation. It was you were heavily compensated through commission, which was exciting to me because I felt like I could somewhat, control how much money I made. But after working for about a year and a half, I saw there was a lot more money behind the scenes that I wasn't making. So that's what really prompted me and motivated me to really be a true entrepreneur and work for myself, because I wanted to know where the money was going. And so that, to me, entrepreneurship means that you are able to write your own check and control your own destiny to some extent.
I add on to that, writing your own check. I know a lot of people, I've spoken to people, and they have a hard time trying to define what that amount is, right? You know what I mean? So what advice would you give someone that says, hey, yeah, I have a business, but I don't know what to charge, or I don't know that value, right? So what would you just kind of give someone
That's a beautiful question, and that's one of the beautiful things about the time and the era that we live in, is that pretty much anything you want to know, you can find out on your phone or your laptop. Comps for any business, what's something selling for, what your competitors are charging. It's free flowing information on the internet. So I would suggest anybody just do their research and see what the competitors are charging and see what the going rate is.
That's facts too. I would also say, in that regard, I had somebody ask me that in construction side of things, and just being an entrepreneur, being out there on your own, you should be knowledgeable on what it costs. Like if you work for a company, be knowledgeable on what they cover for your costs, right? There's things like you have to look into, like your healthcare costs. If you're going to be out there on your own, understand it's going to cost you a little bit more if you're out there on your own. So you may have gone from paying nothing or $100 a month, $200 a month, with a corporation, to on your own, having to pay $500 or $1,000 a month. So those are things you should be knowledgeable about and factor into your price, and break that down. Your cost of living, things like that. If you want to have a 401k, those are things that you should factor into your price. If you're just coming from something that's completely unheard of, a business that isn't around, those are some other suggestions I would give to you guys. But like you said, it's all on the internet too. But I would say that's a good start for someone who doesn't really know how to price their product, right? Look at what
just do your research. And that's, like I said, that's the beautiful thing about the time we live in, is that pretty much the blueprint to how to do anything you want to do is on the internet. There's nothing that you want to do that somebody else hasn't done, and you can look it up and they'll step by step.
That's what's up. What about you, Jay?
Entrepreneurship. Man, entrepreneurship to me, it kind of means like staying consistent, man. Like to follow whatever that you're trying to do, because sometimes when we're in the day-to-day job, it's like, oh man, here we go again. But as an entrepreneur, you have to think on the fly. And you got to be committed to think on the fly. Like, okay, this may not work out right now, but I got to figure out how to make it work, And I think that commitment is very hard for people to adjust to. And I don't know, that's what it means to me. Is like, as long as I know I'm committed to do whatever it takes, zero to necessary. Zero to necessary. I had to put that in there. Sorry.
Shameless plug.
Boom. You just got to do it, man. Because if you don't, you're gonna be miserable.
I agree with that. You have to be ready for change, be ready to pivot at any moment, because the market and the economy, it's tides and it's waves and it flows. You have to be able to, what was working in February might not be working in December, so you have to be ready to make that pivot.
I'd add to that the consistency, just the same difference is the commitment to it, right? Getting up every day, getting on. It's different when it's on your own merit, when you got to get up and go to work, and on a schedule they tell you to work, you can do that. That's what the society trains us to do, pretty much. That's what school and the system trains you to get up and work for someone every day. But to be able to have that discipline and that commitment to say, it's on me, I got to get up, I got to be up early, I'm gonna be up late, but I gotta still get up early, I gotta do this. So that's definitely what entrepreneurship means to me, or looks like. Even I'm finding that groove and slap my own self on the hand sometimes.
It takes time. You gotta figure out what works for you, what's your lifestyle, your schedule. What entrepreneurship to one person, to one man, is not the same to the next man.
Do you feel like it's a skill set though, like entrepreneurship?
I feel like it's something that's it's not for everybody, because there's nothing wrong with somebody wanting a routine pace and knowing they have the safety of, okay, I'm going to come to X place and do this task at this time, and I can leave at this time. Yeah, I may not be making X amount of dollars, but I'm trading that possible more income for stability, and that's fine, because people need stability.
That's another question came into my head. I mean, I consider you successful. You're around, other, successful entrepreneurs. What's a common trait? What's a skill set that you've seen amongst, folks like yourself? And what I mean, what do you
That's
see?
another good question. Well, between myself and my two partners, we've all worked for other people. We just, a lot of times we just don't like being told what to do. We feel like maybe we can do it better than somebody else. So somebody who's just not complacent with somebody saying, just go do this. Like, nah, I'm not gonna go do that. Like, I'm gonna do this because I'm smarter than you. Or this is So, yeah, generally people that just feel like, the entrepreneurs I've known are people that felt like they can do it better. And they also want to be able to write their own check. They're not satisfied with the status quo or what somebody else tells them they're worth.
Okay, good. So next question. So I love this question because, like we talked about earlier, everybody's the economy's doing well. People have savings. People are doing different things. So if you had some money saved up, say $10,000, right? 10 G's, man. 10 racks. 10 racks. What would you invest in? And then also $10,000. So give me the $10,000 answer and give me the $20,000.
Right now, today. 2020 Jamel.
2020 Jamel, yeah.
Okay, 2020 Jamel. I'd probably put it in real estate or the stock market. Because that's what I know. I'm not saying that's what somebody else should do, but those are the games I know.
Okay. I love that answer. Those are the games I know. I think that's very big and very important. A lot of people try to do different things, and I posted something the other day on my IG page. It was a Nipsey interview, and he talked about staying in your lane. You know what I mean? So basically, that's what you're saying. The same thing, like your lane, and that's what you're gonna do.
Let me speak to that. Other than that's me for where I'm at. I just recently turned 40 years old, so if I was younger and I didn't know the real estate and the stock market the way I do today, I would invest that in myself. Whatever passion I had, I'd invest it in myself. One thing I have learned, sometimes when you invest in other people and you don't do enough due diligence, it doesn't always work out. So other than investing in the stock market or real estate, I'd tell people to invest in themselves, invest in what they're passionate in. Because if you make the mistake, you're going to be able to live with that. Because okay, I made the mistake, I bought this, it didn't work out. You can take that and build upon that for your next endeavor. So just invest in yourself, whether that's through education, strengthening your knowledge base and whatever you want to do, whether that's going back to school, but just constant investment in yourself so you can know what your lane is. And then when you know your lane is, you can invest in that.
That's dope. Yeah, that topic has come up a few times in these past interviews we've done. A lot of people say that, invest in yourself. Dr. Lee was one of our guests. He's the public speaker I was telling you about. And he's like, yeah, I take that and invest in myself. He said, I see the value. And he talked about a group that he goes and participates, and he's paid $6,000 to be in a room with folks who are millionaires and groups like that. So it's a constant theme that people are saying, invest in yourself first before you just go out and put your money into something that you don't know or you're not comfortable with. Know yourself first, and then go from there.
Without a doubt.
Another question, right? And since you're in that market, you said you real estate or stock. What type of real estate do you think you would go after then, like specifically with 10, 20? Since you see that every day, what can 10,000 or 20,000 do for you right now? What type of property, type of deal could you get?
San Diego, that's tough because obviously the prices here are exponentially greater than where they are in other markets. So within the real estate market, with $10,000 to $20,000. I might look in some other markets. If If that's all I had, I would possibly look into some other markets. I got a really good buddy of mine, and I think he was posed the same problem. I think he might have had $10,000-$20,000. And so what he did was he invested in himself, got some knowledge. I think he set up a corporation for himself and made sure his credit was solid, and he took out some business lines of credit. I think he got maybe $60,000 to $80,000 in business lines of credit, and he went to Las Vegas. And in Las Vegas, he was able to buy a fourplex for, I think, $250,000, $280,000. I think he had to put 60, 70K down on that. I think maybe it was 20 to 30% down, so maybe it was closer to 80, 90K. But that wasn't his money.
Right,
He took out
business line
his
of credit.
business line of credit. I'm sure he spent some money maybe getting his credit together, setting up his LLC, and then he's applied and got his business lines of credit. Took that money as a down payment money, went to another market, a market that's not really too far from here. It's a 45-minute flight from San Diego to Vegas. Bought a fourplex. I think this was in 2017, and now the fourplex is probably gone up in value 100 to 200K, and it's cash flow positive.
Wow.
So that's what I would do.
Perfect. That's perfect. We'll talk a little bit about that in the next segment too, about the business lines of credit and leverage. So, Jay, you wanna shoot at that question?
Yeah, 10 to 20. I mean, I have to go with the robots, man. I gotta go with AI, man, artificial intelligence, man. I would invest in that right now because, I mean, all this data analytics that's going on, I mean, you gotta have cash in order to, read that kind of information that's coming in so fast, and you gotta be able to develop the actual technology to do that. I mean, this is kind of off topic, but I was reading an article and it was talking about how these contact lenses, right? It's called like Mojo lens or something like that. And you put it in your eye, and they're developing phase right now, right? You put it in your eye, but you're gonna be able to see stuff on like, boom, like out there. That's like in the works right now. They wanted to come out by like 2025. So I'm like, man, this is crazy, and I mean, think about it, like they invested all that money just to have a contact lens, so I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I know the return of investment will come, even though we don't see it right now, but investing in it.
I'm with you on that. Like,
Yeah.
Like I said, if it's not real estate, stock market, because there's a ton of companies I know in the last 3 or 4 years you had invested. If you invest $20,000 in the right stock 5 years ago, I mean, some of these stocks are 10x.
Yeah.
20,000, 10,000 is 200, 100K.
Yeah. Like you said, that education part is important.
Yeah.
And I would to segue that that would be mine. I would do stock, especially given just what's happened in the last few days with the trade deal going through and the way the stocks have really jumped. Tesla jumped up crazy, like $200. You talk about Google used to be $500. That's up to almost $1,500. I've been talking a lot about the cannabis industry, and those cannabis stocks have been starting to jump up. I don't think that's going anywhere. I think eventually it'll be legal across the whole country, especially with this next election. A lot of those candidates are all cannabis. They're pushing. I don't think not one has said that they won't, push for full legalization. So I would be behind that, big time right now. Put my money behind. They're so cheap. You're talking about $20 stocks. You're talking about penny stocks and things like that. So, I don't know. I blow $20 pretty quickly. When I go out, when I step outside, it's just like here go 20, here go 20. So I wouldn't mind taking some of that and putting it in the stock, putting $100, $500 in a few different stocks, and just kind of seeing what happens.